Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Best place for long-term stock investors. Now, speaking of not long-term, we are actually looking at Hexttar Technologies today. It's up like something like 14 times, right? In the past a year and a half. It's crazy. Recently, there was news about this very famous investor called Dato' Eddie getting into the stock, diversifying, things like that. And so obviously, we're going to give our thoughts on it and whether or not it's something you should be participating in. Of course, guys, as a disclaimer, now what we say is financial advice, purely educational, and we do not own any shares in Hextar Technologies. Also, coming on November 3rd, we have a live training just for you if you're interested in learning how you should prepare yourself for 2023 as an investor. As you know, 2022 has been really difficult. We don't want you to continue feeling that pain going into the next year. So hop on to our training. If you're interested to join, you can click on the link in the comment section or the description. Okay, Hexttar Technologies. As you can see, I think it's like the best performing stock probably.
Yeah, man, it's mooning, man. Literally like going up the moon.
People are in a bear market. What is a bear market for this stock? Right. Okay, so anyway, Jonathan, you're going to brief us through roughly how this company came to be, what it used to be called. Go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing is that this company was initially at a market cap of 120 million during its IPO days. That's about 93 cents per share, which means it actually more than 10x in the span of I believe 13 or 14 years. So it is incorporated in 1995, and if you didn't know, this company was used to be called Complete Logistics Service Berhad.
Or Complete. I thought it sounds...
So I'm pretty sure some of you guys may have heard before this kind of this company. But yeah, so right now they actually call Hexttar Technology because Dato' Eddie bought over this company.
Yeah.
And they have about 5 vacant land for warehousing. We'll talk a little bit about that. And there's 1 land warehouse, 1 factory, and 1 vacant land for the trading and transportation businesses.
So yeah, basically they're in the logistics business, marine, I assume like land.
Yes.
And warehousing, things like that.
For now. So if you look at their business segment, they have marine logistics, trading of goods, warehousing.
They are very complete.
Yeah, very complete.
So give us a sense of the revenue. And I think one very interesting thing that I can obviously see here is that in 2022, I believe, there's this big gray thing for trading that just bumped up.
Yeah, so over here, if you notice, they are trading of goods, or actually they call it the trading of building materials. That is actually contributed when Dato' Eddie took over the company.
Right.
So they found out that the business for their logistics segment wasn't really performing well. Yeah. So thankfully, it is some cash is coming into the business because of this business.
Great.
So, but we don't know whether this is a one-off. That's the thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Or whether is it going to be recurring. That's also something that you need to find out in the next few years. Yeah, but overall, if you look at their business, it's actually been, it's been doing that quite bad because you look at their marine business segment, it has been trickling down. Trading business also not doing really that well, except for in 2022. Logistic business, the dropping is because of the supply chain issue in financial 2021. But right now, I believe it's a little bit easing. So we'll find out whether is it really going to perform better in the next few quarters or even years.
That'll be interesting. But I think the pre-tax profit segment is also quite interesting. Actually, very interesting. So I can see straight away like the marine one is like very choppy.
Yes.
Right? But the big one seems to be the stable one is logistics.
Yep.
But the big one seems to be other. So like your lorry and trucking and services and trading and freight. There's this huge blue chart, bar chart. What in the world is that?
Okay, so previously, this company actually invested a lot of these subsidiaries.
Yes.
And actually, they did disclose it in their annual report. So what are those subsidiaries? Is that while we have the DSA, I believe it's called Dolphin Service asset. And then there's GEMS and GIL. Basically, all of these subsidiaries are something related to their logistic and warehousing business segment.
Right.
But then they dispose it. I believe it is so that they can get some cash so that they can weather the storm during the supply chain issue and when their business is not doing that well. But that actually generated about 45.6 million bottom line. Yeah, so that's incredible.
It'll be interesting to see how the cash has like changed over time,
allocated.
Right?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, but before that, right, just want to share with you, this is the major customer segment. So roughly all of these major customers are actually coming from the logistic segment. They don't disclose who is the profile of these customers, so it's a little bit difficult to find out who are they. But interestingly, in financial year 2022, as I mentioned in the previous slide, right, why there's an uptick in a huge jump in revenue. So it's about 55.5% actually contributed the total revenue of that particular year. It's actually coming from the trading of building materials, and it's brought in by Dato' Eddie. Yeah,
I see. So Dato' Eddie sort of like in a way revived it, because as you can see in 2021, like it dropped so much, presumably from the logistics division. Which is very interesting, because logistics as a whole did quite well, right, in 2021 with supply chain and all that.
Correct. But I believe it's because of competition also.
Right.
There's too many companies that's doing logistics during that time also. So it's always the big one and the more efficient one will win the
So Dato' Eddie came in with this new business that gave it this big boost.
Yeah, one big boost. We don't know whether it's going to be once off or it's going to be...
Of course, we will see going forward. Yeah. Alright guys, if you didn't know, we have a one-on-one mentorship program where you can apply for, where we level up your stock investing based on tailor-made solutions. If you're interested, you need to apply. Not all of you all will get into an interview. It's only 20% of you all will do it, and even fewer will get to hop on the program. But if you're confident that you can qualify, you can click on the link and fill in your details in the comment section or the description. Okay, so if we break down the P&L, we already discussed some of the stuff earlier on about the revenue.
Yep.
And also the profit before tax, right?
Yes,
which also extends into the profit after tax. But we mentioned just now that in 2021, they had a big downturn.
Yes.
And then right now with 2022,
somewhat is reviving, somewhat recovering.
So I don't think there's anything too interesting here, except the fact that the gross profit is pretty low. So it gives you a sense that it's a low margin, somewhat business.
Correct. Yep.
Right. So what is fortunate or unfortunate is that in 2020 when they sold the subsidiary, so obviously the cash balance went up a lot, right? But it just immediately dwindled after that.
Yeah. I think that's something to do with they trying to, one thing of course is to pay out the working capital and also pay out the operating expenses. Another is because they are looking into diversifying this new business segment.
Right.
Should I disclose now or should I disclose later? Because later we're going to be talking about it.
But actually, I think the next one is the cash flow statement, right?
Fundraising first. Yeah.
So, but later we'll show you, right, that actually they are paying dividends in a period where there is not so, right?
Yep. When they are not really making much of cash during that year. But
it's quite, we'll head to the dividends later on. But before that, I think nothing too like
fancy to talk about. Yeah, the only uptake over here you see in 2008 is because that is the period where they actually launched an IPO. Right. So that's why there's inflated interest of stock.
So the interesting bit here is that the dividend uptick. So guys, this is a bit messy. Apologies, but think of the grays as the 2022.
Yeah.
Right. So before we go on to the operating cash flow and the free cash flow, like if you look at the dividends here, right, they actually paid two very big ones, biggest in their, at least from 08, right? This was before Dato' Eddie, or Dato' Eddie was there already?
That was Dato' Eddie was there already.
Right. So it's very interesting. He goes in big. He pays himself a very big bet. He owns like 70% of the company, right? Something like that.
Yeah, so in 2021, he initially owned about 29% of the stake in the company. But then in 2022, that's where he started to bring in this new Sendirian Berhad, which is Hextar Technologies Sendirian Berhad.
Okay.
Also linked to him. That one, I think he's holding about 40% of the company.
Okay.
Later I'll actually talk about the shareholding.
But how do you describe this, like the operating cash flow and also the free cash flow?
Right. So, this is a business. Logistic business, service business. Cash flow definitely will be that. It will be quite awesome because you can, most of the time you can get the cash up front. It doesn't really take a lot of time to actually collect those cash. But then if you notice in 2022, there's actually a drop in operating cash flow. Is one of the reasons is because of the logistic business is not doing that well.
Yes.
So where is this? So how are they actually getting money is from that trading of building material. But because you're doing in a trading business, right? Trading business, there's a lot of costs involved in it. That's why they have a very small margin, like 5% or even less than 5% of profit margin, right? And I believe they actually took some of the cash and pay from I'm speculating. Maybe they took some of the cash that they made from the trading of building material and they distributed it out for dividends.
Right.
Yeah. That's the only thought that I can think of.
Very shrewd move.
Yes.
Very, very shrewd move.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is not really anything like unexpected. Obviously, as they were suffering in 2021.
Correct. So actually, if you notice, right, the title that I put there, this ROIC is actually operating cash flow based. So instead of profit before tax based, right? The reason why I use operating cash flow is because it's more, it shows the business how it's actually operating, running. Because in the PBT, there's a lot of fluctuations because they dispose the subsidiaries and then sometimes they don't. So this is actually the more accurate way to predicting their ROIC. Then, of course, if you notice in 2022, ROIC is now in the negatives because of the trading of building material. That one is not really it's not really a cash flow generating business. So that's why you see there's a negative in it in 2022.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If you're enjoying the video so far, remember to like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so that whenever new videos pop, you'll know it fresh. Okay, so let's give our thoughts, right? I think the first one is that they are affected by the supply chain issue.
Yes, correct. So, I mean, as you can tell from the financial year 2021, their logistic business is not doing that well. But right now, we kind of know that the supply chain issue has been easing.
Right.
Somewhat. I mean, if previously, I think you did mention a little bit about the logistics stats.
Yeah, but of course, they were impacted in 2020 and 2021. So at that point in time, it was like peak pain.
Correct. So right now, maybe we can see the logistics service to be improving.
Yep.
But if it's deteriorating, means something is wrong with them business management. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then the second point is, the trading of building materials, the huge uptick in financial year 2022 for their profits. We don't know whether this is a once-off or whether this will be a recurring business to them. So that is something that you need to be aware of. And the third point is that, so this is a review. They're going to be diversifying into the tech business space. And then they mentioned a lot of fancy words. So there's the ICT, your IoT, your software, all kinds of things.
So I think the way Dr. Eddie has been doing, creating the story, right? Again, whether it becomes true or not, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But I think the two big things I can see that really contributed to the price going up so much is, number one, obviously the dividends that they're paying. Because for those who don't know, dividends is actually one of the biggest contributor to like share price movements. So if you increase the dividends, which is essentially proof of profit, then people will get more excited. And what actually ends up happening is that as they keep paying dividends, then institution comes in and things like that.
Correct.
Then that's when the price goes up. That's number one. And the second one is, of course, using these buzzword kind of like
tech.
Tech, IoT. But there's not much about it. It's just purely an announcement.
Correct. It's purely an announcement. There's no numbers coming up from this.
Right.
But if I'm wrong, please do correct me in the comments.
Let us know in the comments.
Yes. But then so far there's no information about this tech business. And the last bit is, of course, Dato' Eddie himself. He and his company actually collectively own this company about 71.4%. So if you look at the shareholdings over here, I mean, you see in 2022, he owns about 27%, and then his company, Hextar Tech.
Right?
Yes, correct. I think nothing much to say, Eddie. I mean, the company is heavily owned by Dato' Eddie himself, and which I also maybe suspect that maybe he bought more shares recently. That's why the share price kind of like boom.
Probably.
10x in, I don't know, 1 month or two.
Yeah, fantastic.
All
right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know if you have more to say about this in the comment section. Share with your friends, family, whoever is interested in Hextar Technologies. And guys, thank you for staying all the way, and we will see you in the next video.